one, it was a home game. Two, it was a conference game. Very proud of our team. It was one of the more complete games that I felt like that we played. We knew going into it that the game was going to be about the ball. That was a major emphasis on of the week, because I talked to them about, in our 3 setbacks this season, we were minus in the takeaway ratio. So I knew that was going to be a big key to the game, and had 3 big interceptions that, goes unnoticed. I mean, one of those interception was in the red zone, so that obviously took points off the board. Then we had a 4th down stop. Tyson Williams made an incredible play. Actually, he was involved in both the interception. He tips the ball, and Isaiah picks it off on the first stop when it was 14-0. That was big. Then we have the 4th down stop where Tyson, we bring 7, and they quarterback has to rush and hurry his throw, and Tyson goes up and makes another nice play. So those were 2 exceptional plays, and I felt like that we played disciplined football. We only had 2 penalties, a holding and then we had a personal foul there in the second half, which I was very proud of the discipline, which was a key to victory. We knew we were going to have to play more disciplined football than what we had played the week before. And then I thought the big thing, too, was sustaining drives, 7 of 12 offensively on 3rd down, keeping the ball away from our opponent, moving the chains, and that was critical. And I thought Maverick did a really good job on some of those 3rd down throws and being patient and keeping the play alive.
And from the start of the game, it felt like you guys started off a little bit slow, which has been a problem for you guys in the past. But this time it came a little different. At the end of the first quarter, you started heating up a little bit, and then at the start of the second, you obviously score. But the fact that you were able to shake off that slow start, which is something you haven't been able to do in past games. How good did that feel?
Yeah, it was big. I mean, I was disappointed. It was 14-0. We have a big stop. We get them backed up deep into their own end of the field, and got great field possession. And I just, we go out in the first play, we throw an interception, which that was a little disappointing. Just, the guy, the defensive, the nose guard made a great play, but you'd like to go out and in that situation, you're up 14-0. You got an opportunity to go up 21-0. I think that could have been a deal to take complete control of the game, and then instead they end up driving down and scoring a touchdown off that. So. We had an opportunity to stop them on a 3rd and 9, I believe, on that possession, which would have been big. And then they come right back out in the second half, and they score, right there on the first drive. And we had a miscommunication on the coverage, and then now all of a sudden it's 21-14. So, I just felt like that we had opportunities to take advantage and take control of the game, and we didn't do that. That was really the only disappointment of the game.
Said to at least Evan that this was the most consistent game you guys have kind of had all year. Talk about how good that feels to be having that kind of a game this late into the season, especially when you got 3 games left, and those are going to be all important because it's going to be basically going against the top of the conference.
You bet. I mean, I feel like that. Honestly, I feel like that our better days are in front of us. I don't think we've completely shown people how good of a football team that we can become. I think we've shown glimpses of it in every game, on both sides of the football. But I think now's the time where I think you're going to start seeing a more consistent performance from our players in all 3 phases. And I think when we do that, we're going to be tough to beat.
And you talked about it a little bit, but time of possession for this game was pretty big. You didn't win the time of possession in the first half, but in the second half, it seems like you guys just took control and just were able to hold on to the ball for most of the second half. How important was that in that game plan, and not giving them opportunities to score?
Well, I think it's evident. If you look at the first quarter, we didn't score. Why? You're not extending drives, and when you extend drives, your chances of scoring move up because you're obviously moving the ball and moving into better field position. And in the second half, we did that, and so you know. I think it's something, I mean, where we just got to make sure that we come up, and whether it's being a little bit more aggressive or playing with a little bit more sense of urgency. I think sometimes in the second half, the game kind of gets close, and all of a sudden, you kind of, sense of urgency. I don't know if that's the phrase, but it's almost like that's what it feels like. You play with a little bit more pep in your step or whatever, but if we can start the games that way and carry it, and we talk about it all the time, it comes down to playing the game. It's going to be 60 minutes and then some.
And it's homecoming, obviously, but you also have ACU Hall of Famer, former NFL running back here in the house, 8th largest crowd in ACU history. How important was it that you win this game at home, and how good did it feel that you guys were able to get the job?
Really, homecoming is great. Our players don't really get to participate into homecoming. They're just a part of the game, obviously. So I know it's exciting for alumni and our fans, and it's a great experience for everyone to come back and get to be able to relive memories and see people, and that's great. At the end of the day, and I don't mean to minimize it at all, but it's really, once you cross that white line and it's another home game, it's another conference game, and you really are so focused on what you're trying to accomplish, you really don't get caught up in everything that's going on outside. But man, I know that homecoming it's a great tradition here at ACU, and it's exciting for everyone, and we respect that. But at the end of the day, it's another conference football game that you need to go, and you need to play well, and you need to win, and to be able to play meaningful football in the month of November.
And it felt like this game, like every other game essentially, there wasn't really one star that kind of stood out, or one player that kind of stood out, statistically at least. It seemed like more of a team effort there. How good is that to see that it wasn't just one player stepping up, it was the whole team kind of raising up together?
Yeah, I think you've seen that all year long. I mean, it seems like it's been someone different every week, if I'm not mistaken, whether it's Blaine Taylor or whether it's Sam Hicks, whether it's Nehemiah Martinez, whether it's Isaiah Johnson, Maverick. At different times all year long, it seems like we've had different people step up at the right time, which is good. And I mean, again, I think that's what it means to be a football team, where it isn't just built around one person. It's not just one superstar. We just have a bunch of really good football players that love each other and love playing the game together. And if we'll continue to do that and play more consistently, we're going to give ourselves a chance to win.
And then you guys have an off week this week. How important is it that you guys are able to get kind of that rest before that last home stretch against such important opponents that are at the top of the conference right now?
Well, I mean, one, it's a bye week. It's not an off week. We still practice. We still lift. We still train. So not trying to be picky or whatever, but for us, it's really, I just got done sharing that with our staff. It's an open week. It's a bye week. It's an opportunity for us to sit here and say, okay, here's what we're doing well. Here's what we're not doing so well. Okay, what are opponents looking at? How are they going to try to, how are they going to try to attack us? So that's one of the big emphasis this week, is looking at us and what can we do better. And then I think continuing to get your body right, get in the training room, get healthy, and then just get prepared for those final 4 weeks of the season, which, there's some good teams, but we played the number one team in the conference that was picked to win it. So we're not going to play teams that we don't have great respect for. We have a great respect for all of our opponents. So, man, we look forward to each one of them. And it's just, that's what this time of year should be about, right? It should be about competing for championships, competing for opportunities to get into the playoffs, and that's what we're excited about. Is, man, we want that level of competition to be high, and I think it brings out the best in each one of us as well.
And the fact that you're able to get that open week by week just to get some rest, heal, especially with the tough games you played. Talk about the importance of being able to recuperate in this next stretch.
Yeah, the season's a grind. I mean, when you sit there and you go through fall camp, you're beating on each other for a month. Then you get into we went 8 weeks straight. So the bye comes at a great time. We're fairly healthy for the most part. We got guys that typical this time of year that are beat up and banged up, and it's a great opportunity if you take advantage of it. Man, you got to get in there. You got to take advantage of getting in there. Practices aren't as long. The film sessions aren't as long, so we try to give them a little bit of a mental break, but it's also a great opportunity to spend more time in the training room, spend more time getting treatment, as well as getting yourself refreshed mentally for this final push. Because I go back, I was just telling my coaching staff, I mean, December the 2nd, I sat right there in that chair and of 2023, and we started talking about January the 5th, 2025, and that the process was starting today. And that was December the 2nd of last year, sitting in this very room, and I interviewed every player on the roster, and we were talking about, hey, here's the end destination. So we've tried to build this thing for the long haul, and these next 4 weeks are just steps moving in that direction.
Right.
Getting through 8 weeks and 4-1 in conference play, what's pleased you so far through the season?
You know, I think just I would say the resiliency of our football team. I mean, we've had highs and lows. I mean, very emotional games, and we've had, we're sitting here at 4-1 in conference, and lost a couple of non-conference games, by 1 point and 3 points. So I don't sit here and think that we look back with any regret on any of those games. Those all of those games we have learned from, and what can we do to prevent that? So I just think that that's probably the thing that I'm most proud of with this group. They just keep basically playing the next play mentality, where I always point back to the very first week when we got down 15-0, 22-7, 32-21, and we just kept plugging along. It just kept plugging. And the Northern Colorado game, the same thing. I mean, the Idaho game, get down, fight back in the second half. I think just the resiliency of them to just keep trying to take the next step, play the next play mentality. And, I think if we can, like we had mentioned earlier, come out and maybe start a little bit quicker these last 4 games, come out of the gate faster, continue to play complementary football. Going to be very proud of this particular team.
You mentioned the emotion the guys play with. There were a little bit of some more chippier moments that have been kind of uncharacteristic of the team so far this last week. Was that just incidental, or? I think it started with the hit on Blaine. I still don't understand that, but how like there's not something marked off. I'll just leave it at that. So. Still waiting to hear how that transpired. So I think that kind of got things going a little bit. They kind of got excited a little bit on that, and I know that it got our guys' attention, and I thought it kind of created a little bit of a spark. I think it brought out the competitive spirit within Blaine Taylor for sure. What is that kind of like we've got your back mentality for your team show?
I think it means a lot. I think it just shows that, how much these guys care for one another. I mean, that's one of their guys gets a shot, dead ball shot, and, gets up from it and responds the way that he's responded. I think that says a lot to his teammates, and not only says a lot to them, but how they responded for him was big.
You mentioned him earlier. Tyson Williams had a lot of reps this season. One of your youngest corners, playing really well. How have you seen him progress and develop?
You know, he is such a football savvy. His football IQ is very high. He's just a smart player. Comes from a great program. I mean, he's every single thing the way he practices, the way that he approaches the game of football. Man, he gets it, and it's not surprising when you watch the way he practices. I said that the other night after the game. When you watch Nehemiah Martinez, you watch Sam Hicks. He's the defensive version of that. He's the same guy. That his approach to the way he prepares, the way that he practices, the way that he shows up and he's ready to go every single day. He's consistent. You get the same from him every single time that we cross the double purple line, and it shows up on Saturday.
What does it mean you can have a piece like that does everything, all the small things really well to build on?
Yeah, you just got to, if you can get more people to emulate that, and you can get more people to, those guys that I've pointed to. I mean, Blaine Taylor's one of those type guys. I mean, it's not coincidental that their performances on Saturday are nothing more than a byproduct of their preparation.
Isaiah Kelly had 2 interceptions. That's a guy who started at the beginning of the year, then has to come off the bench for several weeks. And, I don't think a performance like that can happen if you don't stay ready and locked in once your role is kind of changed. And he got back in the lineup on Saturday and had a huge game.
No doubt about it. We kind of were struggling a little bit building our scheme around who do we build it around? Who's our 11 best football players? And we kind of gone back and forth since fall camp, and that says a lot about what's inside. I talk about this all the time, a man's character and what's inside of Isaiah. I know what's inside of Isaiah. And to sit there and to be a senior and not be playing as much as what you would like to play, like you said, started early in the year and then just kind of rotating in and out and kind of going with a hot hand each and every game. I just felt like that some of the inconsistency that we've shown at times defensively, it's almost like we kind of phase in and out, mentally. So I just said earlier in the week, I made a couple of adjustments with Isaiah and Elijah. I moved Elijah back over to the boundary safety position where I felt like he's more comfortable. Moved Plumlee back and put Isaiah back in, and I felt like that it showed up in practice this week, and I felt like it showed up in the game. We just had one miscommunication there in the second half, early in the second half, and which led to an explosive play. But for the most part, I was very proud of Isaiah and to respond with 9 tackles and 2 interceptions, and to be able to come back with that kind of performance. I think that really just speaks highly of Isaiah and the type person he is.
I know that Sam Hicks, was kind of forced to play a little bit more than he has, 24 carries, and hopefully you get other running backs healthy. But I mean, is 24 carries, is that sustainable, you think, for multiple games?
No, and I think we kind of, if you look at Jordan Vaughn was running the ball extremely well, and then he fumbles, and then we didn't, yet we put such an emphasis on the ball security, and I think, if he doesn't fumble that football, I mean, you probably don't have Sam carrying the ball 24 times. I mean, I don't think that's sustainable for a guy like Sam. I mean, he weighs, 190 pounds, and I just think that it was just kind of how that game played out. And in the moment, having confidence that, number one, he's not going to put the ball in jeopardy, and just the belief and the faith and confidence that we have in him. Again, I think it speaks to who Sam is as a player and as a person, that they have that kind of confidence in him. But no, I was very proud of Jordan, the way that he ran the football. And he's just fighting. It's like, it happens to running backs. He's fighting, trying to get extra yards, and tough to go down. And but, man, that was a critical situation in the game where we were again driving, had momentum. It looked like and was going to be able to put some points on the board.
Will Schaefer had the interception against Central Arkansas, really big play for him. Then continued to impress against North Alabama, and then this week with another interception, almost had two. How has he continued to impress you?
Yeah, his biggest thing is he is another guy that is extremely intelligent. Sometimes it gets him in trouble. You know, he'll move, he'll be anticipating certain things, but Will is a football IQ guy. He understands concepts. He understands the game extremely well. He's sneaky athletic, and he's doing a great job of reading the quarterback's eyes. And you know, it's just we've challenged him. It's just attention to detail. It could be just moving and controlling your feet on the snap of the football, or it could be, you know, making sure that your eyes are right. And once he starts playing with a little bit more efficiency in his movement, you're going to continue to see him. I think the sky's the limit for him. I mean, he just gets better and better every week, and I think you'll continue to see that throughout the rest of the season.